Welcome, 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 welcome. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to another episode of Voluntarily Venting from the truck. 6 a.m. in the morning. It's Monday morning, and I'm coming to you. This is your boy Mike. I'm coming to you because I have a thing I want to say, a topic of I made it through. See, I made it through life as the challenges that I went through. I know y'all done heard great in prison stories how people go to prison and come home and become successful. But let me tell you, it's a lot more to that. It's a whole lot more to that. See, me personally, as a kid coming up, born and raised in Jersey City, I came up with in the 70s, 80s. I was born in the 60s, raised up in the 70s, 80s, and 90s, and so forth. And I was raised up, listening to pimps, whores, and drug dealers talk about things. But the most important part of it all, I was raised up listening to my homeboys or some of the friends that I associated myself with went to jail and juvie, and they come home and all buffed up, went in there, as people would say, a coward and came out tough guy. So we heard all those stories, and it was more like, we wanted to be part of that because that was like part of our life for those who want to experience jail. We heard the stories, they go in there, they're going to take your ass, you're going to get this, you're going to be that, you're going to become this and that. We heard all those stories. Is they true? It's only true if you make it true. You know what I'm saying? It only comes alive if you make it come alive. But here's the thing. We look at the fact that our boys that went in there, and then when they come home, they have a prison story to tell. They glamorize it, They put it all on this pedestal and stuff like that. So cats like me and others would think that, going to jail was cool because now he comes out, he buffed up, he was once little, came out, now he big and the girls on him. But let me tell you my thing about prison, right? First and foremost, it started when I dropped out of school. When I dropped out of school in the 9th grade, I made up in my mind that my education didn't mean nothing to me. I felt as though I was grown to hit the streets. I can get more of the street knowledge now because I ain't got to go get education. It's like, being educated doesn't mean nothing. That was just my perspective. But sadly to say, I needed all the education I can get. But with that being said and done, dropping out of school and having nothing to do but hear prison stories and jokers saying this and that and jokers supposed to be cool, made me become part of the, maybe become a statistic. Made me become part of the problem that's going on today. Want to be a drug dealer. Got no house, got no money, but wants to be a drug dealer. And wants to do other things. And always heard about, the jokers going to jail. Now, let's fast forward to some time. Because, getting yourself prepared to go to jail, people might say, how do you do that? Well, when you're out here hustling, when you're out here robbing, when you're out here doing the things that's not of, you preparing yourself to go to jail. And then you're preparing yourself to deal with the consequences when you go to jail. See, a lot of people ain't going to tell you that the stories that they heard about jail, some will be like, oh man, blah, blah, blah. But when you get in there and experience for yourself, going in there and you thinking, dag, man, so I got to get in here and fight somebody that's going to try to take my ass. I got to get in here. I got to fight these guys to stay alive. What do I got to do? How do I survive in here? You know what I'm saying? They don't tell you all of that. You know, they just tell you that they went in there, they did their time and came home. But they in there and they literally on pins and needles and trying to figure out how can they maneuver or how can they fit in. My thing was, I saw the less toughest guy here, and was saying to myself, how did he survive? Just mind his business. And I'm thinking all the stuff that was told, Joker's gonna jump you, somebody gonna try to take your ass and stuff like that, so you gotta fight to the death, all this stuff I was thinking. You know, and like I said, it's only true when you make it true. When you get involved with those type of things. So I learned how to stay to myself. But I wanted to go home, but this is the consequences I had to deal with. But when I came home with my chest all puffed up and I shot from a $125 to about like 170, and it was looking stocky. Joker was like, yo, you know, big as hell, yo. That's when I realized I had, well, not right then and then, but as time goes on, this is when I realized I became institutionalized. Because what I had inside, I knew I could survive. That was just in the county, not down the state. So I knew I could survive the county. But I came home and I felt like one of the guys, like all the attention was on me. And wasn't ready to fight a lick, but just was ready to tell my war story. Because everybody was just like, oh, Mike, you home, blah, blah, blah. And I really wasn't missing nothing. But I was missing a lot because I had kids. So I missed out on my kids. You know, and a lot of other things. But, you know, like I say, I made it through, made it happen, you know, and I'm going to continue on making it through. Now, I can go on and on with this story, you know, just to let you know, that first time in jail, it was a scary thing for me, you know, and I couldn't show my weakness because I was so tough out in the streets. I had to be tough in there, but all that toughness flew away until I found where I fit in at. And when I found that where I fit in at was mind my goddamn business and keep my mouth shut when I see shit. That was it. But I will continue on some other time. Tune in, catch the rest of it. You know, just letting you know that, you know, all the prison stories that you heard or hear, you know what I'm saying, some of them just probably leave out the details of certain things, and some of them don't. Mine, like I said, it all started when I dropped out of high school. Right then and there, I was preparing myself to go to jail. So I say that to say this is that I made it through. Some of y'all don't have to go through what I went through to make it. But if y'all do, and some of y'all went down the route that I went down, then change your direction, your walk of life, and make it become better. And with that, I'm saying, I'm going to say peace.